This book did not find you by chance, it sought you out when your spirit was prepared. The timeless enigmas in these pages have awaited your readiness to unveil them. Now the cosmos invites you to rouse your path into the secrets of existence begins here. The Secret Book. Introduction. Across the epochs, these revered doctrines have disclosed themselves solely to those whose essences were ready to embrace them. You grasp this volume now because the cosmos has judged you prepared for its age-old insight, like a lock that materializes exactly when the barrier must be unlocked. These doctrines surface at the instant of your profoundest preparedness. Within these chapters dwell enigmas that have been murmured across lineages, transmitted by those who comprehended the authentic essence of existence. These are not simple terms on parchment. They are entrances to alteration, gateways to grasping the very structure of being. You have sensed it, haven't you? That enduring murmur in your essence, that awareness, that there must be more to existence than what surfaces. This instinct has directed you here, to this instant, to these doctrines. The knowledge enclosed herein cannot be compelled or hastened. It will unfold organically like sunrise piercing the horizon, enlightening your comprehension, one beam at a time. Through legends of insight, through emblems that converse with your profoundest self, through exercises that rouse latent forces, you will uncover realities that have eternally resided within you. This is not simply a volume about realization. It is an initiation into the enigmas of formation itself. As you traverse these chapters, you will master perceiving beyond the shroud of commonplace existence and acknowledging the unseen fibers that interlace the fabric of your being. The route ahead demands bravery, for once you glimpse these realities, you cannot unperceive them. Your view of existence will alter, and with it, your capacity to mold your fate will awaken. This is your summons to enter the enigma, to assert your innate right as an architect of your existence. You have been selected. The voyage commences now. Part 1. The Awakening of the Chosen. Chapter 1. The Murmur of Fate. In a hamlet where time appeared to stream like nectar, young Nadia often strolled along the historic brick barriers that bordered her abode. One fall twilight, as amber foliage twirled in the gloaming, she heard something distinct in the breeze, not merely the rustle of limbs or the sigh of turf, but a tune that seemed to address directly to her essence. The sound bore no terms yet. Nadia grasped its significance with flawless lucidity. It summoned her toward the woodland trail she had traversed 1,000 times before, but never truly observed until this instant. When the cosmos elects to converse, it seldom employs terms. Instead, it communicates via the tongue of the essence, via inexplicable awarenesses, via persistent ideas that arrive like unanticipated visitors, via coincidences that feel too significant to be happenstance. These divine prompts arise when you have matured to accept them, when your spirit has developed enough to comprehend their importance. The cosmos's choice is not haphazard. It is exactly timed to synchronize with your preparedness. Like a bloom that unfurls at precisely the right instant, your rousing occurs when conditions within your awareness have properly synchronized. This choice signifies the commencement of a revered voyage, one that alters the commonplace into the extraordinary. In a far-off realm there dwelt an artisan named Elias, who expended his days forging exquisite items from metal. Though his labor brought him acclaim, Elias felt a void he couldn't name. One night, while laboring late in his forge, he noted how the moonlight cast silhouettes through his casement, creating designs on his workbench, unlike any he had seen before. Night after night, these designs appeared, slowly altering, leading his gaze to different nooks of his forge. Following these silent directors, Elias uncovered new methods, new shapes, new ways of working with metal that he had never envisioned. His creations began to bear a quality that seemed to touch people's essences in unexpected ways. The silhouettes had led him to his true purpose, not merely to forge objects, but to infuse them with spirit. Just as Elias learned to read the language of silhouettes, you too are encircled by signs and emblems meant specifically for you. Those instants when your heart quickens at an unanticipated sight, when a street melody refuses to leave your mind, when a chance meeting feels charged with meaning, these are the cosmos's ways of speaking to you. To begin attuning yourself to these divine messages, create a daily practice of sacred listening. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. For 5 minutes each day, sit in complete silence. Close your eyes and turn your attention inward, as if listening for a distant song. After each session, write down any feelings, images, or intuitive knowledge that arose during your silence. Don't judge or analyze. Simply record these whispers from the cosmos. With time, you'll begin to recognize the unique way the cosmos speaks to you. Chapter 2. The Shroud of Deception. In the thriving bazaar of a historic metropolis, Elias moved through existence in a perpetual haste, his mind obscured by endless dealings and worldly worries. Each day blended into the next, a haze of negotiations and computations. One evening, while searching through old scrolls in his stall's cellar, he stumbled upon a dust-covered manuscript tucked between crumbling partitions. As he unrolled the aged parchment, the insight inscribed within pierced through the shroud of his busy existence. In silence lies the reality. In stillness, all is disclosed. The clamor of the world creates a thick mist around your awareness. Like Elias, you may find yourself caught in the whirlwind of daily life, where urgent matters mask important truths. The cosmos speaks in whispers, yet modern life shouts. Your fears echo loudly. Your doubts create static. Society's expectations drum a constant rhythm that drowns out your inner wisdom. These deceptions, the belief that you must constantly do, rather than be that external success, equals inner fulfillment. That time is your enemy, rather than your teacher, form a barrier between you and your true potential. They are like shrouds, each one distorting your vision of reality, each one convincing you that the surface of life is all there is. In a quiet glen, Nadia tended her orchard with practiced hands. For years, she had fought against nature, forcing fruits to grow according to her will. Frustrated when they failed to thrive, one in which she clutched her plans tightly, she sat in defeat among her ruined trees. In that moment of surrender, she noticed for the first time how the sunlight played differently on various branches, how certain fruits naturally grouped together, how the wind carried seeds to perfect spots she had never considered. She realized she had been imposing her limited vision on a system far more intelligent than her own understanding. Nadia's story mirrors your own journey. Like her, your mind requires constant tending. Negative thoughts require release. Inner wisdom requires space to emerge. The shroud you carry about your worth, your capabilities, your place in the universe, are like Nadia's rigid plans, preventing you from seeing the perfect order that already exists. Take a moment now to examine the beliefs that limit your vision. Write down 5 thoughts that constrain your potential. Perhaps you believe you're not worthy of abundance, or that your dreams are too ambitious, or that you must struggle to succeed. Next to each limiting belief, craft an affirmation that reflects your higher truth. If you wrote, "I never have enough," transform it to, "Abundance flows to me naturally." If you penned, "I'm not talented enough," replace it with, "I am constantly growing in my gifts." Practice these affirmations daily, letting them dissolve the shrouds that separate you from your true potential. As you do this, watch how the universe begins to reveal its deeper truths to you, just as it did for Nadia in her orchard. Chapter 3. The First Glimpse. In the heart of an ancient valley where weathered stones held secrets of forgotten ages, Nadia paused her journey, her feet dusty from countless miles. She had led her to a peculiar sight, a stone altar bearing strange markings. The inscription read, "What seeks is also sought, what calls is also calling." For days she pondered these words until dawn broke one morning and understanding flooded her consciousness. The riddle wasn't a puzzle to solve, but a mirror reflecting the truth of her own quest. The cosmos speaks in mysteries that unveil themselves precisely when you are prepared to understand them. Each revelation arrives not as a thunderbolt of knowledge, but as a gentle awakening, like the soft light of dawn touching your consciousness. These first glimpses of truth often appear ordinary, a phrase that suddenly carries deeper meaning, a coincidence too perfect to ignore, or a moment when time seems to stand still. Your journey toward understanding begins with recognition. Just as Nadia found meaning in ancient words, you too encounter signs daily. These signs speak directly to your soul, carrying messages that your logical mind may initially resist. Yet it is precisely this resistance that signals the presence of a deeper truth waiting to be discovered. The law of attraction operates not through force, but through resonance. When you begin to notice these subtle signs, you are actually witnessing your own readiness to receive wisdom. The cosmos's messages appear not because you searched for them, but because you have become aligned with their frequency. Elias stood in his marketplace stall, frustrated by dwindling sales and uncertain prospects. 3 doves landed before him, pecking at scattered grain in a distinct pattern. He noticed how they moved in perfect harmony, each bird's movement complementing the others. Later that day, he observed the same pattern in how successful merchants arranged their wares. Following this natural guidance, Elias reorganized his stall, discovering that nature had offered him a solution hidden in plain sight. These moments of synchronicity serve as bridges between the visible and invisible realms. The cosmos constantly reaches out, offering guidance through a tapestry of meaningful coincidences and natural symbols. Your task is not to force meaning where none exists, but to remain open to the subtle language of the cosmos. Begin now to cultivate awareness of these divine messages. Keep a small journal with you throughout the day. When you notice recurring numbers, animal encounters, or any symbol that draws your attention, record it without judgment. Write down not only what you observe, but how it makes you feel, what thoughts arise, and any intuitive insights that surface from this quiet space. This practice of sacred observation will gradually attune you to the cosmos's guidance system. Like learning any language, understanding comes through patient attention and regular practice. Let each symbol be a thread in the greater tapestry of your spiritual journey. As you develop this heightened awareness, you'll begin to recognize patterns emerging from what once seemed like random events. The cosmos speaks in whispers and gentle nudges, in the flight of birds across your path, in the words of a stranger, that echo your morning thoughts, in the recurring song that follows you through your day. Trust in the process of unfolding awareness, knowing that each observation strengthens your connection to the divine conversation taking place around you. Chapter 4. The Choice to See. In a sunlit garden, Elias attended to his vines, carefully pruning away dead leaves while preserving the blooming fruits. Each morning he maintained this comfortable routine, finding solace in its predictability. One dawn, as he reached for a particularly thorny branch, he noticed a silver key partially buried beneath his vine bush. The key seemed to pulse with an inner light, beckoning him to unlock something beyond his familiar world. Elias stood frozen, pruning shears in hand, knowing that acknowledging the key would forever change his carefully ordered existence. The moment of choice between comfortable illusion and challenging truth arrives for all who walk the path of awakening. This choice presents itself not as a dramatic crossroads, but as a quiet invitation that whispers to your soul. The cosmos offers these moments with infinite patience, waiting until you are ready to see beyond the veil of familiar patterns. Truth requires courage because it demands that you release what you think you know. Like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, transformation cannot occur while clinging to old forms. This journey from ignorance to wisdom is not a single choice, but a continuous commitment to seeing with new eyes. The law of attraction responds not just to your desires, but to your readiness to receive. When you choose to face truth, even when it challenges your comfortable beliefs, you signal to the cosmos your willingness to grow. This choice activates a power within you that has waited lifetimes to emerge. Nadia stood before her loom, threads trembling in her hand. Years of dismissing her weaving dreams had created a mountain of doubt that now loomed before her. The blank fabric seemed to mock her aspirations, while voices of past critics echoed in her mind. But this time, instead of retreating into familiar patterns, she dipped her shuttle in dye. With each weave, she faced the fear of imperfection, allowing herself to create without demanding mastery. Nadia's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Take a moment now to craft your declaration of intent. Write these words, or ones that resonate more deeply with your spirit. I choose to see truth even when it challenges my beliefs. I embrace the journey of understanding, knowing that each revelation brings me closer to my authentic self. I release the need for comfortable illusions and welcome the light of sacred awareness into every aspect of my life. Today, I declare my readiness to perceive life's deeper meanings and to grow in wisdom. Let these words serve as your compass as you step into the enigma. Chapter 5. The Gatekeeper Test. Along a winding mountain path, Nadia approached an ancient gate carved with symbols that seemed to shift and change as she drew near. Before it stood a figure wrapped in silvery robes, whose eyes held the wisdom of centuries. "What brings you to this threshold?" the gatekeeper asked, his voice carrying both warmth and authority. When Nadia spoke of seeking truth, the gatekeeper smiled knowingly. "Tell me then, what truths do you already hold so dear that you cannot bear to question them?" The question struck Nadia like a bolt of lightning, forcing her to confront the comfortable certainties she had carried all her life. Each belief she held dear suddenly felt heavy, like stones weighing down her progress. The moment of choice between comfortable illusion and challenging truth arrives for all who walk the path of awakening. This choice presents itself not as a dramatic crossroads, but as a quiet invitation that whispers to your soul. The cosmos offers these moments with infinite patience, waiting until you are ready to see beyond the veil of familiar patterns. Truth requires courage because it demands that you release what you think you know. Like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, transformation cannot occur while clinging to old forms. This journey from ignorance to wisdom is not a single choice, but a continuous commitment to seeing with new eyes. The law of attraction responds not just to your desires, but to your readiness to receive. When you choose to face truth even when it challenges your comfortable beliefs, you signal to the cosmos your willingness to grow. This choice activates a power within you that has waited lifetimes to emerge. Elias stood before his forge tools in hand, frozen by the whispers of doubt that had always held him back. "Who am I to create something new?" the voices asked. "What right do I have to step beyond my station?" But this time, instead of retreating into familiar patterns, he chose to examine these thoughts. Where did they come from? Whose voice really spoke these limiting words? Elias's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Take a moment now to engage in this sacred practice. On a blank page, write down the fears that arise when you contemplate change. What beliefs whisper impossible when you dream of growth? What old stories tell you to remain small? For each fear you identify, ask yourself, is this truth, or is this merely a familiar limitation I've accepted? Let your answers flow without judgment, knowing that awareness itself begins the process of transformation. Your journey mirrors both Nadia's and Elias's experiences. The gates you must pass through are guarded by your own beliefs about what is possible, what you deserve, and who you truly are. These guardians will not be defeated through force, but through conscious examination and understanding. Chapter 6. The Path of Shadows. Through the ancient forest of whispering oaks, Elias ventured deeper into shadows that seemed to breathe with age-old wisdom. Each step carried him further from familiar paths, while twisted branches reached overhead like gnarled fingers against the darkening sky. His heart pounded with each unexplained sound, each shifting shadow that danced at the corner of his vision. The darkness you face on your spiritual journey is not meant to frighten you. It exists to teach you. Like Elias in the forest, you must walk through territories that challenge your comfort, for it is in these spaces that the greatest treasures of self-discovery lie waiting. When uncertainty clouds your path, remember that darkness serves as the womb of transformation. It is the space where old beliefs dissolve and new understanding takes root. The shadows you encounter are not your enemies. They are teachers wearing dark robes, offering lessons that light alone cannot provide. Your doubts and fears arise not to stop you, but to show you where healing must occur. Each shadow represents an aspect of yourself calling for attention and integration. When you turn away from these darker elements, you reject parts of yourself that hold keys to your advancement. Nadia stood before her empty loom brushes, trembling in her hand. Years of dismissing her artistic dreams had created a mountain of doubt that now loomed before her. The blank fabric seemed to mock her aspirations, while voices of past critics echoed in her mind. But this time, instead of retreating into familiar patterns, she dipped her shuttle in dye. With each weave, she faced the fear of imperfection, allowing herself to create without demanding mastery. Nadia's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Take your journal now and write about one fear that holds you back. Describe it not as an insurmountable wall, but as a shadow asking for your attention. Then beneath this description, write one small action you can take tomorrow that moves you through this fear. This step need not be grand, even the smallest movement forward illuminates the path ahead. Remember, the practice of confronting shadows requires not courage without fear, but courage within fear. Like the ancient mystics who ventured into sacred caves carrying only a single flame, you must learn to move forward while acknowledging your trembling heart. The fear itself becomes your teacher, showing you where healing and growth await. Through this sacred practice, layers of illusion fall away, revealing the divine essence that has always existed at your core. As your perception deepens, you'll find yourself naturally attracting experiences that resonate with your newly discovered truth. Chapter 7. The Secret Language of Signs. In the early morning mist, Nadia walked along the ancient trade route, her mind heavy with decisions about which direction to take her caravan. A white feather drifted down, landing softly at her feet. As she bent to examine it, a sequence of numbers caught her eye, carved into a weathered milestone, 2222. The wind whispered through the leaves, creating a melody that seemed to speak directly to her soul. The cosmos speaks in a language older than words. Its messages appear in patterns, symbols, and synchronicities that dance at the edge of ordinary perception. These signs serve as breadcrumbs on your spiritual path, guiding you toward harmony with universal truth. When you attune yourself to this sacred language, you begin to recognize that nothing is random. The repeated numbers you glimpse, the animals that cross your path, the words that catch your attention, all carry messages meant specifically for you. Like ancient hieroglyphs waiting to be decoded, these symbols hold wisdom for those who learn to read them. Elias stood in his marketplace stall, frustrated by dwindling sales and uncertain prospects. 3 sparrows landed before him, pecking at scattered grain in a distinct pattern. He noticed how they moved in perfect harmony, each bird's movement complementing the others. Later that day, he observed the same pattern in how successful merchants arranged their wares. Following this natural guidance, Elias reorganized his stall, discovering that nature had offered him a solution hidden in plain sight. These moments of synchronicity serve as bridges between the visible and invisible realms. The cosmos constantly reaches out, offering guidance through a tapestry of meaningful coincidences and natural symbols. Your task is not to force meaning where none exists, but to remain open to the subtle language of the cosmos. Begin now to cultivate awareness of these divine messages. Keep a small journal with you throughout the day. When you notice recurring numbers, animal encounters, or any symbol that draws your attention, record it without judgment. Write down not only what you observe, but how it makes you feel, what thoughts arise, and any intuitive insights that surface from this quiet space. This practice of sacred observation will gradually attune you to the cosmos's guidance system. Like learning any language, understanding comes through patient attention and regular practice. Let each symbol be a thread in the greater tapestry of your spiritual journey. As you develop this heightened awareness, you'll begin to recognize patterns emerging from what once seemed like random events. The cosmos speaks in whispers and gentle nudges, in the flight of birds across your path, in the words of a stranger that echo your morning thoughts, in the recurring song that follows you through your day. Trust in the process of unfolding awareness, knowing that each observation strengthens your connection to the divine conversation taking place around you. Chapter 8. The mirror of reflection. In the heart of an ancient valley where mountains touch the sky like silent guardians, Elias approached a temple carved from living stone. Its weathered steps, worn smooth by countless pilgrims before him, led to massive doors that seemed to open of their own accord. Inside, golden light filtered through high windows, illuminating an altar where an aged sage stood waiting. "Place your desires here," the sage whispered, gesturing to a simple stone bowl. "The divine awaits your trust." Trust, this most sacred act of faith, forms the foundation of all manifestation. When you release your grip on how and when your desires should materialize, you enter into divine partnership with the cosmos. Like a river, creation flows most powerfully when unimpeded by doubt and control. Your role is not to force outcomes, but to harmonize with the natural current of universal wisdom. Each desire you hold is a seed planted in the fertile soil of possibility. Yet it is trust that allows this seed to grow in its perfect season. When you release your timeline and surrender to divine timing, you open yourself to possibilities beyond your limited imagination. Nadia stood before her garden, visualizing the abundant harvest she wished to create. Each morning she tenderly cared for her plants, pouring her love into the soil. But when the season brought different flowers than she had planned, she discovered they were exactly what her heart needed. Through this experience, she learned that clinging too tightly to specific outcomes could blind her from the greater gifts being offered. Nadia's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Take out your journal and write down your 3 most cherished desires. For each one, examine whether you're holding it with clenched fists or open hands. Now rewrite each desire as an invitation to the cosmos, beginning with, "I open myself to receiving," or "I welcome the perfect manifestation of." Feel the shift as you release attachment while maintaining the pure essence of your desire. Close your eyes and visualize yourself in the dance of creation, moving forward with purpose, while remaining gracefully open to divine timing and infinite possibilities. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 9. The Awakening Dream. One night, Elias lay beneath the stars, his consciousness drifting between worlds. In his dream, he stood before an ancient door covered in symbols that seemed to pulse with living light. As he touched the door, the symbols began to flow like liquid silver, entering his body through his fingertips. In that moment, he understood that he held within himself the power to shape reality. Dreams speak in the language of the soul, carrying messages from the depths of universal wisdom. When you sleep, the veil between conscious and unconscious thins, allowing sacred truths to emerge through symbols and metaphors. Your dreams are not mere flights of fancy. They are doorways to understanding your deepest nature and highest potential. Each dream carries fragments of divine wisdom waiting to be understood. The symbols that appear, whether a door, a bird, or a flowing river, reflect aspects of your inner journey. By learning to interpret these symbols, you access guidance that your conscious mind alone cannot provide. Nadia, a merchant known for her practical nature, once dismissed her dreams as meaningless shadows. One night, she dreamed of a silver key floating before her. As she reached for it, the key transformed into a brilliant light that filled her entire being. Upon waking, she felt changed, understanding for the first time that her analytical mind had been limiting her perception of what was possible. This dream awakened her to the reality that her intuition required cultivation. Nadia's journey mirrors your own, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. To begin working with your dreams, place a journal and pen beside your bed. Each morning before the dreams fade, record everything you remember: images, feelings, conversations, and symbols. Don't worry about making sense of them immediately. Simply document these night messages with openness and curiosity. As you practice this, ancient art of dream recording patterns will emerge. Certain symbols may appear repeatedly, offering guidance about your path. Pay special attention to dreams that leave a strong emotional impression or seem particularly vivid. These often carry the most significant messages for your journey. Write down your dreams without judgment or interpretation. Later, return to your journal and reflect on the symbols and their possible meanings in your life. Remember that you are the best interpreter of your own dreams, for they speak in a language unique to your soul's understanding. Through this sacred practice, you open yourself to guidance from the deepest parts of your being. Your dreams become a sacred bridge between the seen and unseen worlds, offering wisdom that can illuminate your path and reveal your hidden powers. Like an ancient seer gazing into crystalline waters, you learn to perceive the subtle messages woven through your nighttime visions. Each dream holds the potential to unveil mysteries about your spiritual journey, your relationships, and the divine purpose that calls to your soul. As you cultivate this sacred connection with your inner wisdom, you'll discover that the cosmos speaks to you in ways both profound and personal, waiting only for you to listen with an open heart. Chapter 10. The Gathering of Inner Strength. Elias stood at the edge of a vast canyon, his heart pounding as he gazed at the narrow bridge before him. The ancient wooden planks swayed gently in the wind, suspended by ropes that disappeared into the morning mist. For days he had journeyed through mountains and valleys, following the whispers of truth that led him here. Now, facing this crossing, he felt the weight of his doubts pressing against his chest. Within you lies a wellspring of strength that flows from the eternal source of all creation. This power does not come from forcing your will upon the world, but from aligning with the natural flow of universal truth. When you stand in harmony with these deeper currents, you discover a resilience that transcends ordinary courage. True strength emerges when you release the illusion of control and surrender to the wisdom that guides all things. Like a tree that bends with the wind yet remains firmly rooted, your power comes from flexibility, combined with unwavering trust in the universal order. Nadia, a humble potter, worked for years creating vessels that always fell short of her vision. One day, as she sat at her wheel, she stopped trying to force the clay into shape and instead allowed her hands to move in harmony with its natural form. In that moment of surrender, she created a piece of such beauty that those who saw it were moved to tears. Through this experience, she understood that true mastery comes not from imposing our will, but from aligning with the inherent nature of things. Nadia's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Like Nadia with her clay, your riches require constant tending. Negative thoughts require release. Inner wisdom requires space to emerge. The shroud you carry about your worth, your capabilities, your place in the universe, are like Nadia's rigid plans, preventing you from seeing the perfect order that already exists. Take time now to recall and record these moments of awakening in your life. In your journal, describe 3 instances when understanding dawned with unexpected clarity. What were you doing? How did the realization feel in your body? What truth was revealed? Write about how these insights have influenced your choices and shaped your path. Let the act of recording these memories strengthen your trust in the cosmos's guidance and your ability to recognize it. Part 2. Deepening the Path of Discovery. Chapter 11. The River of Surrender. Nadia stood at the river's edge, her path blocked by rushing waters that stretched far beyond her sight. For days she had tried to find a way across, searching for shallow points, attempting to build a raft, even considering swimming, but each attempt left her exhausted and no closer to her goal. As twilight approached, she sat upon a smooth stone, watching leaves dance upon the current. In that moment of stillness, she witnessed how the leaves did not fight the river, but allowed themselves to be carried by its wisdom. The cosmos speaks through every flowing river, in every gentle breeze. When you release your grip on how things should be, you align with a wisdom greater than your own. This surrender is not defeat. It is an awakening to the natural order that guides all things. Life moves with a divine intelligence that far exceeds our limited understanding. Your struggles often stem from resisting this flow, from believing that force of will alone can shape your path. Yet true power lies in recognizing when to yield, when to allow life to carry you toward destinations you could never reach through effort alone. Like water itself, this wisdom requires you to become fluid, adaptable, and trusting. When you release rigid expectations of how your desires should manifest, you create space for unexpected miracles to enter. Elias spent 20 years building walls around his garden, trying to protect it from wild animals and harsh weather. Each season brought new challenges, and each challenge demanded more defenses. One spring, exhausted from his endless battle, he finally stopped. He removed the walls and instead planted flowers that attracted birds and butterflies. He worked with the natural cycles rather than against them. To his amazement, his garden flourished as never before, becoming a sanctuary that served not only him, but the entire village. Elias's journey mirrors your own, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Take a quiet moment with your journal. Write down one situation in your life where you feel stuck or are experiencing strong resistance. Below this, write, "I honor this sacred pause as a time of perfect unfolding. Everything is aligning for my highest good." Create a personal affirmation that transforms your waiting into sacred trust. Each morning for the next week, sit quietly and repeat this affirmation 3 times, allowing yourself to become the river flowing with divine wisdom. Chapter 12. The Echo of Intuition. In a sacred grove where time seemed to pause, Elias found himself drawn to an ancient oak tree, whose branches reached toward the heavens like wise fingers beckoning to unseen realms. As he settled against its weathered trunk, a peculiar stillness enveloped him. The rustling leaves above seemed to whisper secrets not in words, but in feelings that resonated deep within his being. The voice of intuition speaks in whispers, in gentle nudges that arise from the depths of your soul. It is the first fleeting thought before doubt clouds your mind, the quiet knowing that precedes reason. This inner compass has guided humanity since the dawn of time, yet in the clamor of life many have forgotten how to listen. Your intuition is the cosmos speaking through you, offering guidance that transcends logical understanding. It manifests as that inexplicable feeling in your gut, the sudden clarity that arrives in moments of silence, or the persistent thought that won't leave your mind. This wisdom doesn't shout. It whispers, waiting for you to become still enough to hear its message. Nadia, a merchant known for her shrewd business decisions, prided herself on following only facts and figures. One morning, as she gathered her wares, she felt an unexplained urge to take a different route to the marketplace. Dismissing this feeling as foolish, she continued her usual path. Later, she discovered that had she taken the other route, she would have encountered a rare opportunity that could have transformed her fortune. This experience taught her that sometimes the heart knows what the mind cannot yet see. Think back to moments when you felt that quiet inner prompting. Perhaps you followed it and found yourself exactly where you needed to be. Or maybe like Nadia, you dismissed it only to later wish you had listened. These experiences weren't coincidences. They were your inner wisdom attempting to guide you toward your highest good. Each gentle nudge, each whispered suggestion that seemed to arise from nowhere, was the cosmos speaking through your intuition. This sacred connection exists within all beings, though few learn to trust it fully. When you learn to distinguish between the voice of fear and the voice of truth, you become your own most trusted guide. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Take 3 deep breaths and allow your mind to drift back to 3 specific moments when you felt a strong intuitive pull. In your journal, record these experiences in detail. What did the intuitive feeling feel like in your body? How did you respond? What was the outcome? End by writing this affirmation. I trust the wisdom that speaks through my inner knowing. Return to this practice whenever you need to strengthen your connection to your intuitive guidance. Chapter 13. The Dance of Desire. In the heart of an ancient city, Elias paused at the entrance of a weathered amphitheater. There, beneath the golden light of dusk, two dancers moved in perfect harmony. One dancer reached forward with passionate intensity, while the other flowed like water, yielding yet purposeful. Their movements told a story older than time, the eternal dance between yearning and acceptance. The nature of desire is often misunderstood. Many believe they must either grasp tightly or completely let go. Yet true manifestation emerges from a more subtle interplay. Your desires are sacred messages from your soul pointing toward your destined path. When you feel a deep longing stirring within, it is the cosmos speaking through you, revealing glimpses of your potential. Yet desire alone is not enough. The art lies in holding your dreams with open hands, trusting that the cosmos's plan may exceed your limited vision. This is the wisdom of the sacred dance, to move forward with intention, while remaining fluid enough to receive unexpected blessings. Nadia stood before her garden, visualizing the abundant harvest she wished to create. Each morning she tenderly cared for her plants, pouring her love into the soil. But when the season brought different fruits than she had planned, she discovered they were exactly what her heart needed. Through this experience, she learned that clinging too tightly to specific outcomes could blind her from the greater gifts being offered. Nadia's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Sacred practice. Take out your journal and write down your 3 most cherished desires. For each one, examine whether you're holding it with clenched fists or open hands. Now rewrite each desire as an invitation to the cosmos, beginning with, I open myself to receiving, or I welcome the perfect manifestation of. Feel the shift as you release attachment while maintaining the pure essence of your desire. Close your eyes and visualize yourself in the dance of creation, moving forward with purpose, while remaining gracefully open to divine timing and infinite possibilities. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Garden of Thought. In a secluded valley, Elias tended to his garden at dawn. Each morning he would carefully select seeds, preparing the soil with intention before planting. As he worked, he noticed how his thoughts about each plant seemed to influence its growth. The seeds he planted with joy and optimism flourished abundantly, while those sown in moments of doubt struggled to thrive. Your mind is like this sacred garden where every thought takes root and grows into your reality. Like Elias in the garden, you must select the thoughts that will shape your future. Each worry, fear, or limiting belief is like a weed that, if left unchecked, will multiply and choke out the beautiful blooms of possibility. The cosmos responds not to your words alone, but to the energy and conviction behind your thoughts. When you plant thoughts of abundance, love, and success with genuine belief, these seeds begin to sprout in your external world. This is not mere wishful thinking. It is the fundamental law of mental cultivation. Nadia stood in her own garden, basket in hand, carefully removing thorny weeds that had sprouted between her vines. As she worked, she realized how these unwanted plants mirrored the negative thoughts that had crept into her mind. With each weed she pulled, she also uprooted a self-limiting belief. I'm not ready became I am perfectly prepared. I don't deserve success transformed into I am worthy of all good things. Nadia's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Sacred practice. Take your journal and draw a line down the middle of a page. On the left side, write down the recurring negative thoughts that appear in your mind throughout the day. These are the weeds in your mental garden. On the right side, craft a positive, empowering thought to replace each one. For example, I never have enough becomes abundance flows to me naturally. I'm not talented enough becomes I am constantly growing and improving. things never work out for me, becomes everything unfolds perfectly in divine timing. Spend time each morning reading these new thoughts aloud, planting them deeply in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Let each word resonate within you like droplets of life-giving water, nourishing tender seedlings. Remember that your mind requires constant tending. Negative thoughts will naturally arise, but you choose whether to let them take root or to replace them with empowering alternatives. Through this sacred practice, you cultivate an inner landscape abundant with possibility and promise. Chapter 15. The Hidden Treasure Within. In the fertile valleys, Nadia had long dreamed of abundance. Coming upon a desolate expanse of earth, she paused, seeing not the cracked soil and withered stems, but the potential that lay dormant within. Each morning, Nadia would bow to the land, expressing thanks for what it would become. She scattered seeds while whispering gratitude for the blooms yet to flower, thanked the dry earth for the fruits it would bear, and blessed the empty space for the shade trees that would grow. As days turned to seasons, something miraculous unfolded. Where Nadia had planted seeds of gratitude, life began to stir. The barren ground transformed into a verdant paradise, drawing travelers from distant lands to marvel at its beauty. Through this ancient wisdom, you discover the first key to unlimited abundance. The truth of abundance lies not in distant lands or external pursuits, but in the sacred chamber of your own being. What manifests in your outer world springs forth from the wellspring of your inner reality. When you nurture thoughts of lack, scarcity follows like a shadow. Yet when you cultivate an inner garden of abundance, the cosmos mirrors this richness in countless ways. To attract prosperity, you must first become its living embodiment. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs create an energy field that draws similar experiences into your life. This is not merely about positive thinking. It is about aligning your entire being with the frequency of abundance. When you radiate gratitude, generosity, and trust, you become a natural magnet for prosperity. Elias, a merchant who had built his identity around material success, stood at the crossroads of transformation. For years, his worth had been measured by his wealth, his status, his possessions. Yet his soul yearned for deeper meaning. One day, he began giving freely to those in need, sharing not just his coins, but his knowledge and time. To his amazement, the more he gave, the more abundance flowed into his life. His generosity created a current of prosperity that returned to him multiplied. Like Elias, you may discover that true riches flow not from grasping, but from opening your hands in sharing. The cosmos responds to authentic inner giving with a force that multiplies when uncontaminated by expectation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and open your journal. Write "My Inner Treasures" at the top of the page. List every gift, talent, and quality you possess. Your wisdom, creativity, compassion, resilience, and any other attributes that make you uniquely valuable. For each inner treasure, write an affirmation that connects it to abundance. My creativity opens endless channels for prosperity. My wisdom attracts abundant opportunities. My compassion creates rich connections. Read these affirmations each morning, feeling the truth of each word resonate through your being. Know that as you recognize and appreciate your inner treasures, the outer world cannot help but reflect this abundance back to you. Chapter 16. The Bridge of Belief. In the misty dawn, Elias stood before an ancient stone bridge spanning a deep chasm. Its weathered stones, cracked and worn by time, seemed barely able to support their own weight. Yet on the other side lay his heart's deepest desire. As he gazed at the fragile structure, a gentle voice whispered in the wind, "Your belief is the true bridge." The power of manifestation flows through the channel of your beliefs. Like Elias's bridge, the path between your current reality and your desired future may appear precarious. Yet it is not the physical bridge that carries you across. It is the strength of your conviction. When you doubt, the stones beneath your feet crumble. When you believe, they become as solid as diamond. Your beliefs are not mere thoughts. They are energetic foundations that shape the very fabric of your reality. Each belief you hold acts as a lens through which you perceive and experience life. These lenses either magnify or diminish your power to manifest. When your beliefs align with your desires, you create an unshakable bridge to their realization. Nadia, a humble potter, dreamed of creating masterpieces that would grace the halls of kings. Each morning, she would stand before her wheel and declare, "Through these hands flow works of divine beauty." At first, nothing changed, but as her belief deepened, her fingers began moving with newfound grace. Her pots took on forms of such elegance that word of her artistry spread far and wide. It was not her skill alone that transformed. It was her unwavering belief that called forth her latent mastery. Nadia's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Sacred practice. Take 3 breaths to center yourself. On your paper, write, "I now strengthen my bridge of belief." Create 3 powerful affirmations that resonate with your deepest truth. Speak them as though they are already real. I am divinely guided to my highest good. Abundance flows to me naturally and effortlessly. My dreams manifest with perfect timing. Repeat these affirmations each morning as the sun rises, allowing them to anchor into your being. Let each word vibrate through your being just as you feel the certainty of the sun's rising. Chapter 17. The Fire of Transformation. In the sacred grove, Nadia stood before the ceremonial fire, its flames dancing like golden spirits in the twilight. Ancient wisdom taught that fire transforms all it touches, reducing the old to ash so the new might emerge. As she approached the flames, her heart quickened with the knowledge that she must release who she once was to become who she was meant to be. Every soul reaches moments when growth demands release, like a snake shedding its skin or a butterfly breaking free of its chrysalis. You must let go of old patterns, beliefs, and identities that have served their purpose. These limitations, though once protective, now bind you from expanding into your full potential. The fire of transformation burns within you, always ready to consume what no longer serves your highest evolution. This sacred flame knows precisely what must be released: those fears that whisper, "I can't." Those doubts that murmur, "I'm not worthy." Those old stories that keep you safely small. When you surrender these to the transformative flames, you create space for new possibilities to emerge. Elias spent 20 years building walls around his identity, trying to protect it from change. His sense of self was tied to his role as a merchant, his worth measured by his success. Yet his soul yearned for deeper meaning. One evening he gathered the symbols of his old identity, his finest robes, his ledgers of achievement, his carefully crafted masks of success, and offered them to the flames. As he watched them burn, tears of release streamed down his face. In that moment of surrender, something shifted within him. As the old blossoms disappeared into the distance, new buds began appearing on once barren branches. Elias's garden, like his life, was ready for fresh growth. Elias's journey mirrors your own, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Light a candle with reverence, letting its flame represent the transformative fire within you. Take a piece of paper and write a letter to the version of yourself you're ready to release. Pour onto the page all the limitations, fears, and old identities you've outgrown. Begin with the words, "Dear past self, I honor how you protected me, but it's time to let you go." When your letter feels complete, read it one final time. Then, with gratitude for how this old self served you, safely burn the letter in a fireproof container. As you watch it transform to ash, feel yourself becoming lighter, freer, ready to step into your next evolution. Chapter 18. The Temple of Trust. In the heart of an ancient valley where mountains touch the sky like silent guardians, Nadia approached a temple carved from living stone. Its weathered steps, worn smooth by countless pilgrims before her, led to massive doors that seemed to open of their own accord. Inside, silver light filtered through high windows, illuminating an altar where an aged sage stood waiting. "Place your desires here," the sage whispered, gesturing to a simple stone bowl. "The divine awaits your trust." Trust, this most sacred act of faith, forms the foundation of all manifestation. When you release your grip on how and when your desires should materialize, you enter into divine partnership with the cosmos. Like a river, creation flows most powerfully when unimpeded by doubt and control. Your role is not to force outcomes but to harmonize with the natural current of universal wisdom. Each desire you hold is a seed planted in the fertile soil of possibility. Yet it is trust that allows this seed to grow in its perfect season. When you release your timeline and surrender to divine timing, you open yourself to possibilities beyond your limited imagination. Elias stood before his garden, visualizing the abundant harvest he wished to create. Each morning he tenderly cared for his plants, pouring his love into the soil. But when the season brought different fruits than he had planned, he discovered they were exactly what his heart needed. Through this experience, he learned that clinging too tightly to specific outcomes could blind him from the greater gifts being offered. Elias's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Sacred practice. Write your deepest intention on a piece of paper, expressing it with clarity and feeling. Hold this paper to your heart and speak these words: "I trust in the perfect unfolding of divine timing. I release my need to control and surrender this desire to universal wisdom." Choose a meaningful location, perhaps beneath a tree near flowing water, or in a special place in your home. Place your written intention there as a symbol of your trust in divine timing. Let this physical act of surrender represent your commitment to co-creating with the cosmos. As you set down your intention, pause to feel the sacred energy of the moment flowing through you. Take 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to release any remaining attachments to controlling the outcome. Return to this spot whenever you need to renew your trust in the greater unfolding of your desires, knowing that this place now holds the energetic imprint of your surrender and faith in universal wisdom. Chapter 19. The Circle of Connection. In a hidden grove where ancient oaks formed a natural sanctuary, Nadia discovered a circle of stones arranged in perfect harmony. As twilight descended, she noticed others arriving, each carrying a small lantern that cast dancing shadows among the trees. They gathered in silence, forming an unbroken circle of light. When all were seated, an elderly woman spoke. "In unity, we amplify the sacred. What one flame illuminates, many flames transform into daylight." The power of collective intention flows through the fabric of existence, like golden threads weaving individual desires into a tapestry of shared manifestation. When you join with others who hold similar vibrations, your personal power multiplies exponentially. This is the sacred mathematics of the cosmos. Energy shared becomes energy multiplied. Each thought you hold creates ripples in the cosmic ocean, but when multiple hearts beat in harmony, these ripples become waves of transformation. This is not merely about gathering in groups, but about finding those whose spiritual frequency resonates with your own, creating a symphony of aligned intention. Elias wandered for years, carrying his dreams in solitude, until he found shelter in a mountain monastery. There, among others who understood the language of the soul, his intentions began manifesting with surprising speed. Each morning, as the brotherhood gathered to meditate, their combined energy lifted individual prayers like leaves caught in an ascending spiral of wind. "My manifestations were seeds struggling in barren soil," Elias later shared. But in the presence of others walking the same path, these seeds found fertile ground and flourished beyond imagination. When you connect with those who support your spiritual evolution, you tap into a wellspring of collective power. Your individual light, bright as it may be, shines even brighter when joined with others. This is the ancient wisdom of circles of temples of sacred gatherings, that in unity we access forces greater than ourselves. Sacred practice. Choose one intention close to your heart. Hold it gently in your thoughts as you reach out to someone who understands your spiritual journey. This person might be a friend, mentor, or family member who resonates with your path of growth. Share your intention with them, speaking it aloud with clarity and purpose. Ask them to hold this intention in their heart for a moment, joining their energy with yours. Together, visualize your desire manifesting in its highest form. This act of shared intention creates an energetic bridge, amplifying your manifestation through the power of connection. Remember to express gratitude for their participation in this sacred exchange, acknowledging the divine spark that flows between kindred spirits. Let this statement serve as your compass as you step into the mystery. Chapter 20. The Silence of Knowing. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Nadia felt overwhelmed by the cacophony of voices, the clatter of wheels on cobblestones, and the endless haggling of merchants. Seeking refuge, she ducked into an ancient temple where silence hung like a velvet curtain. As the outer noise faded, an inner voice emerged with crystal clarity, speaking truths she had long forgotten. Silence holds wisdom that words cannot contain. It is the sacred vessel through which universal intelligence flows into consciousness. When you step away from the world's constant chatter, you enter a sanctuary where deeper understanding dwells. In stillness, the cosmos speaks. Its language transcends thought, reaching directly into the soul. This communication requires no interpretation, for it arrives as pure knowing, a truth recognized rather than learned. Through silence, you access a wisdom that has always existed within you, waiting to be discovered. Most seek answers in the outer world, in books, teachers, and endless discussion. Yet the greatest revelations arise from the quiet spaces between thoughts. It is in these moments of pure stillness that divine guidance flows most clearly, offering insights that transform understanding into wisdom. Elias spent years traveling to distant lands, searching for answers to life's deepest questions. One evening, exhausted from his endless seeking, he sat beneath a cypress tree, surrendering to complete stillness. In that moment of perfect quiet, everything he had been searching for revealed itself. The purpose he had struggled to discover through countless conversations and teachings emerged effortlessly in silence. All my wandering led me in search, Elias later reflected, until stillness showed me that my destination was here all along, waiting in the quiet of my own heart. Your journey mirrors Elias's, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Light a candle if you wish, creating an atmosphere of sacred communion with your inner wisdom. Take several deep breaths, allowing your awareness to settle into your heart center. Hold a single question in your mind, one that seeks genuine guidance. Let this question rest in your heart rather than your head. Now, with pen and paper ready, close your eyes and listen deeply to the wisdom that arises from within. Write whatever comes without judgment or editing. Trust that your inner oracle speaks through these words, offering the guidance you seek. End by thanking this wisdom that dwells within you, knowing you can return to this well of truth whenever you need guidance. Part 3. Mastery of the Secret. Chapter 21. The Flame of Certainty. In a sacred temple high in the mountains, Nadia stood transfixed before an eternal flame that had burned uninterrupted for centuries. The flame danced steadily, unwavering despite the winds that swept through the ancient halls. As she gazed into its depths, she understood that this flame mirrored the quality needed for powerful manifestation, absolute, unwavering certainty. The cosmos responds not to wishes or hopes, but to the unmistakable energy of knowing. When you hold a truth within your heart with such certainty that no shadow of doubt can exist, You align with the creative force that shapes reality. This certainty transcends mere positive thinking or affirmation. It is an unshakable knowing that resides in the very core of your being. Think of how you know the sun will rise each morning. You do not hope for it, wish for it, or try to convince yourself it might happen. You simply know. This same quality of absolute knowing is the foundation upon which all manifestation stands. When you achieve this level of certainty about your desires, the cosmos has no choice but to reflect your inner knowing in the physical world. Elias, a humble potter, discovered this truth through his craft. Each day as he shaped clay on his wheel, he began to understand that his creations emerged not from his hands alone, but from his absolute certainty in what the formless clay would become. One day he applied this same unwavering knowing to his deepest dream, establishing a school for young artists. He held this vision with such certainty that he could feel the energy of young creators filling his workshop, hear their excited voices, see their emerging masterpieces. He did not question how or when it would manifest. He simply knew it as an inevitable truth, as certain as the sunrise. Within months, opportunities arose that seemed to arrange themselves. A wealthy patron appeared. Space became available, and students began to arrive. Elias's certainty had created an energetic blueprint that reality simply filled in like water flowing into a perfectly carved channel. Your dreams await this same level of certainty. The cosmos stands ready to manifest what you know to be true, not what you hope might be possible, but what you accept as already accomplished in the realm of pure potential. Sacred practice: choose one desire that burns brightest in your heart. In your journal, write a statement of absolute certainty about this desire. Begin with the words, "I know with complete certainty that," writing as though your desire has already manifested using present tense language that carries the energy of accomplished fact. Stand before a mirror or candle flame each morning and speak your statement aloud with unwavering conviction. Let your voice carry the resonance of absolute knowing. Feel the truth of each word in every cell of your being, just as you feel the certainty of the sun's rising. Chapter 22. The Sacred Pause. In a secluded garden, Elias sat beneath a flowering tree, watching as buds slowly transformed into blossoms. Day after day he returned to observe their unhurried unfolding. The buds neither rushed nor strained. They simply held their potential in perfect trust, knowing their moment would arrive. Between desire and manifestation lies a sacred pause, a space where faith deepens and harmony refines itself. This pause is not empty waiting, but rather a pregnant stillness filled with invisible growth. Just as a seed in darkness must first establish strong roots before breaking through to sunlight, your manifestations often require a period of unseen development. During these pauses, the cosmos works in subtle ways, arranging circumstances, aligning energies, and preparing the perfect conditions for your desire to emerge. Your task is not to force or rush this process, but to maintain unwavering trust in the divine timing of all things. Each moment of waiting carries its own purpose, strengthening your faith and deepening your connection to universal wisdom. When you resist these pauses, you create friction that can delay manifestation. But when you embrace them with grace and trust, you enter a state of allowing that accelerates the natural unfolding of your desires. Nadia, a merchant who dreamed of opening a grand marketplace, discovered this truth through experience. For months, her plans seemed stalled: permissions, delayed partners, hesitant resources just out of reach. Initially, she fought against this pause, pushing and straining to force progress. But one evening, sitting by a still lake, she witnessed how the water's surface became crystal clear, only when she ceased all movement. In that moment, Nadia understood. She began to treat her waiting period as sacred time, using it to refine her vision and strengthen her trust. Rather than anxiously checking for progress, she rested in absolute faith that everything was unfolding perfectly. When the marketplace finally opened, it exceeded her original vision in ways she could never have planned, incorporating elements that only became possible through the pause. Your current pause holds similar wisdom. Rather than viewing it as a delay or obstacle, recognize it as a vital phase in your manifestation journey. This is your time to deepen trust, refine harmony, and allow the cosmos to work its subtle magic. Sacred practice. Take a quiet moment to identify an area of your life where you feel stuck or in a holding pattern. In your journal, write, "I honor this sacred pause as a time of perfect unfolding. Everything is aligning for my highest good." Create a personal affirmation that transforms your waiting into sacred trust. Each morning for the next week, sit quietly and repeat this affirmation 3 times, allowing yourself to become the river flowing with divine wisdom. Chapter 23. The Mirror of Mastery. Elias stood before an ancient mirror in a forgotten temple chamber, its surface gleaming with otherworldly sheen. As he gazed into its depths, he saw not just his physical reflection, but layers of reality rippling outward from his being. Every thought, every belief, every vibration within him manifested as patterns in the world around him. The mirror showed him how his inner state created his outer experience with perfect precision. Your external world operates as a cosmic mirror reflecting back the sum of your inner mastery. Each circumstance, relationship, and experience emerges from the template of your consciousness. When you understand this truth, you hold the key to transforming your reality. The cosmos responds not to what you wish for, but to what you embody. Your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional states create energetic frequencies that attract matching experiences. This is not magical thinking. It is the operation of universal law. Nadia walked through her garden marveling at how it had transformed. Once wild and unkempt, it now flourished with order and beauty. She realized this change had begun not with her hands, but with her consciousness. As she had cultivated clarity, purpose, and harmony within herself, her environment naturally shifted to match her inner state. Her relationships became more fulfilling, her work more meaningful, and her days more aligned with her true nature. Nadia's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Sacred practice. Choose one area of your life: relationships, work, health, or abundance. In your journal, describe its current state in detail, being completely honest with yourself about both challenges and triumphs. Then explore how this reality reflects your inner beliefs, thoughts, and emotional patterns. Notice the direct correlations between your deepest convictions and your daily experiences. Pay special attention to recurring patterns and situations that seem to repeat themselves, as these often point to deeply held beliefs seeking recognition. This reflection will reveal where shifts in consciousness can create powerful external change, illuminating the exact points where inner transformation will yield the most profound results in your outer world. Chapter 24. The Gate of Release. Nadia stood before an ancient gate adorned with intricate symbols, its weathered surface gleaming in the morning light. For years she had searched for this entrance, believing it held the key to her deepest desires. Yet now, facing it, she understood that the gate would remain sealed until she released what she carried within. Her hands trembled as she touched the cold stone, feeling the weight of her final fear, the fear of her own power. This fear had been her constant companion, whispering doubts and keeping her safely small. But safety, she now realized, was merely another cage. The cosmos operates through the sacred law of release. What you cling to creates resistance, blocking the flow of greater possibilities. Each fear, each limiting belief, each attachment to specific outcomes acts as a barrier between you and your highest potential. True mastery emerges not from accumulation, but from surrender. When you release what no longer serves you, you create space for new energies to enter. This letting go is not loss, but transformation, a sacred alchemy that turns limitation into possibility. The cosmos can only give you what you have room to receive. Elias spent years building walls around his identity, trying to protect it from change. His sense of self was tied to his role as a merchant, his worth measured by his success. Yet his soul yearned for deeper meaning. One evening he gathered the symbols of his old identity, his finest robes, his ledgers of achievement, his carefully crafted masks of success, and offered them to the flames. As he watched them burn, tears of release streamed down his face. In that moment of surrender, something shifted within him. As the old blossoms disappeared into the distance, new buds began appearing on once barren branches. Elias's garden, like his life, was ready for fresh growth. Elias's journey mirrors your own, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Sacred practice. Find a quiet moment and bring to mind one belief, habit, or attachment that no longer serves your highest good. Write it down on a piece of paper, expressing fully what you are ready to release. Feel the weight of this limitation and your readiness to let it go. Choose a simple yet meaningful act of release. You might burn the paper safely, bury it in the earth, or dissolve it in water. As you perform this ritual, speak these words: I now release what no longer serves my highest good, making space for new blessings to enter. Feel the lightness that comes with letting go, knowing that this release opens the way for greater possibilities to emerge. Chapter 25. The Inner Oracle. In the heart of an ancient grove, Nadia knelt beside a still pool, its surface like polished obsidian. For moons, she had traveled far seeking wisdom from sages and scholars. Yet here in this sacred space, she discovered that the answer she sought had always dwelled within. As she gazed into the depths, her reflection began to shift, revealing not her physical form, but the luminous essence of her inner being. In that moment, she understood every question carried its answer, waiting to be heard in the silence of her own heart. The voice of truth speaks through you in every moment. This inner oracle, this wellspring of wisdom, flows ceaselessly beneath the surface of everyday thoughts. When you align with this voice, you tap into the infinite intelligence of the cosmos itself. Your inner knowing is not separate from universal wisdom. It is the very channel through which divine guidance flows. Many seek truth in external sources, wandering far from home while carrying a compass within their own heart. Yet this inner voice speaks in whispers, requiring you to become still enough to hear its message. It communicates through subtle feelings, through the quiet certainty that arises when you pause to listen. This wisdom doesn't shout. It whispers, waiting for you to become still enough to become the river flowing with divine wisdom. Elias stood at a crossroads, faced with a decision that would alter the course of his life. Instead of seeking counsel from others, he closed his eyes and turned inward. In the depth of his being, he felt a clear direction, not as words, but as an unwavering certainty. Though this path appeared challenging to others, his inner oracle guided him forward with quiet confidence. As he followed this guidance, doors opened effortlessly, confirming the wisdom of his inner voice. Elias's story mirrors your own journey, revealing a truth as ancient as creation itself. The strength you seek does not require you to become something different. It asks only that you recognize and align with who you truly are. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Light a candle if you wish, creating an atmosphere of sacred communion with your inner wisdom. Take several deep breaths, allowing your awareness to settle into your heart center. Hold a single question in your mind, one that seeks genuine guidance. Let this question rest in your heart rather than your head. Now, with pen and paper ready, close your eyes and listen deeply to the wisdom that arises from within. Write whatever comes without judgment or editing. Trust that your inner oracle speaks through these words, offering the guidance you seek. End by thanking this wisdom that dwells within you, knowing you can return to this well of truth whenever you need guidance. Part 4. The Conclusion. As you close these sacred pages, know that you have not merely read words. You have awakened to a truth that has always resided within you. The secret now flows through your veins, whispers in your thoughts, and shapes the reality you create with each breath. This knowledge cannot be unlearned, for it has become part of your very essence, transforming how you move through the world. Each revelation opens the door to deeper understanding. Each mastered lesson reveals new horizons to explore. The cosmos operates through perfect balance, the dance between desire and detachment. While clear intention draws truth toward you, attachment to specific outcomes creates resistance that blocks its natural flow. Like water, wisdom moves freely when unobstructed by the debris of desperate grasping. Your relationship with truth must mirror the rhythm of breath, drawing in with purpose, while releasing with trust. This balance activates the law of detachment, where your desires become seeds planted in fertile soil, free to grow in their own divine timing. The ultimate secret lies not in acquiring wisdom, but in remembering what your soul has always known. You are not a fragment seeking wholeness, but the wholeness itself expressing through form. Every breath you take is the cosmos breathing through you. Every heartbeat echoes the cosmic pulse that moves through all creation. When you truly grasp this truth, manifestation no longer feels like reaching for something outside yourself. It becomes a natural expression of your divine nature. You're not attracting from without, but awakening what already exists within. This understanding transforms everything: your relationships, your work, your very experience of being alive. In a distant temple, Elias stood before an ancient mirror. As he gazed at his reflection, the glass seemed to dissolve, revealing not his physical form, but pure light extending infinitely in all directions. In that moment, he saw that his body, thoughts, and desires were waves in an infinite ocean of consciousness. His seeking had not been in finding something new, but in recognizing what had always been. "I searched the world for treasure," he whispered, "only to discover I am the treasure itself." This revelation awaits within you, eternal and unchanging. Your separation from the cosmos is the grandest illusion, a dream from which you are now awakening. Like waves rising from and returning to the ocean, you have never truly been apart from the infinite source. As you embrace this truth, you step into the full power of your divine nature, recognizing that you are both the dreamer and the dream itself. The veil of separation dissolves, revealing the luminous reality that has always been your essence. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment.